Minecraft 1.17, also known as the Caves and Cliffs update. What I decided to do is survive 100 days in this new version of Minecraft with a couple of goals in mind, which include things such as obtaining the dragon egg and the elytra, slaying a warden, and befriending our very own Axolotl. If you didn't know, 100 days in Minecraft is roughly around 33 hours worth of playtime, and it's not the easiest things to actually pull off. So if you guys could hit that subscribe button, that would honestly mean the world to me, and you guys can always change your mind later. Without further ado, let's begin. Day 1. And so we begin. The beginning was actually super simple. All I really did was collect some essential resources, this including things like wood, upgrading my tools, from wooden ones to stone ones. Then I found this little bit of a mini cliff. I decided to make it into my home. I created it into a cave, and this is what it looks like. Afterwards, I decided to make 2 furnaces. Don't ask why. Then I created a chest and stored a bunch of stuff in it, even though if I died I kinda lose it anyways, but I just needed some free inventory space. Then we hopped out of the base and I found some berries, and I was just like, okay, not the best food source, but it's still a food source, so I decided to take it. For the majority of that day, honestly, I was just walking around aimlessly looking for just stuff. I found this mountain, and on the side of the mountain I found some coal, so obviously I grabbed it. Afterwards, I found this very strange looking mineral. It ended up being one of the new minerals that they actually added into 1.17, which was copper. Now, I have no idea what this is used for, and honestly, I just liked how it looked, so I took it, I took it, I was gonna smelt it, and figure it out along the way. That being said, I looked around a little bit more. I'm not sure what I was really looking for. Again, I found this really high and tall cliff, and I decided not to climb it for some reason because there was a creeper underneath, even though I was trying to go like above and beyond it. But I decided to turn back. I found some more of that copper stuff, pretty nice stuff, climbed a miniature hill, then started speed bridging for some reason. But then at the corner of my eye, lo and behold, we got ourselves a sheep. Instead of wanting to breed the sheep, I killed them. Relentlessly. Besides that, I also managed to get ourselves some coal, and now that we have wool, we can actually make a bed, which is essential, especially if I don't want to die. We slept through that first night. Days 2 to 5. The second day begins. Now mind you, these couple of days, I genuinely spent killing salmon and cod. That's all I did. And I don't know. I don't know what else to say. I spent days killing salmon and cod. But don't worry, I knew what I was doing. I've already done one of these 100-day challenges, and on my first ever 100-day challenge, food was one of the biggest problems. I was gonna make sure that throughout this entire series, food would never be even a thought in my mind. Days 6 to 10. Within this time frame, I basically had all the fish I can ever ask for within a Minecraft survival world, at least for this challenge. And so, I then realized I actually have to cook this food. I don't know why it didn't hit me prior. So, I decided to look in our chest, and we luckily had a bunch of cobblestone from when we first made this place. So that was convenient. We crafted them into furnaces, but then it also hit me that we don't have any fuel. Very little, very little. We had a little bit, but not too much. And so we go back to the lovely mountains we found the sheep at and search for more coal. Mind you, there was a lot of strange generation in terms of like coal, where sometimes it wouldn't even be in a clump, it would just be a singular piece of coal. So this honestly extended it by a bunch of time. But I do have to say, eventually it did work out at the end, and we got a bunch of coal. Then we started smelting the fish, nice and easy, nice and crispy. I was excited, all my hard work had paid off. Days 10 to 15. Once we got food out of the way, then we decided to actually go mining. It is the Caves and Cliffs update, so I decided to take a look at the caves portion of everything. We were going for a bit and didn't hit anything until I hit a spot of water. It was kind of strange to me because I've hit water countless times before in normal Minecraft. I just didn't expect the cave to be different, but it ended up actually being a ginormous underwater cave. I decided to go down there with a bunch of doors just to realize that it actually connects straight to the beach that we live right next to. So that was kind of dumb of me for not noticing in the first place. Despite it being a very easily accessible cave, I decided to still go further down into it because it actually had stuff in it, so I wanted to kind of explore it a bit because it's something that I haven't seen before in Minecraft. After squirming around for a while, we eventually find this thing that's a cave. What I didn't realize is the place that we landed at actually had a little bit of a friend next to me. A creeper. Oh my god. The series almost just ended. Just for me to realize that I actually had nothing at all. I decide to swim out. Afterwards, I find my house and use the smelted iron that I had, which is one of the first things I probably should have made with the iron, a shield. Days 16 to 20. After this, we decide to tackle the caves once again. I go back to that same underwater cave that I found and decided to start mining. I got a bunch of resources, primarily iron, but I did also pick up a good amount of copper. Also, FYI, I still don't know what the heck copper does. This lasted for quite a bit. You know what I was hyped for though? I was super excited to see a little bit of like a branch out from the cave system to get into some of these new like biomed cave systems, you know? There's a couple of them, not too many on this snapshot. And I really wanted to see one, but I didn't end up seeing one within this cave, which was kind of disappointing. After getting a buttload of ores, I decided to head back up and smelt them all. I also decided to make a full set of iron gear. Days 21 to 25. I'm not one to give up, so instead of just sitting there and being like, okay, the cave was okay, it's fine, I'll deal with it. No, I decided to go in a different direction. I wanted to find one of these unique cave biome things. On the way down, we actually found one of the new blocks known as Grimestone. It's a little interesting. We saw a little bit of it earlier, but didn't realize that it was actually a new block. I just thought it was Blackstone or something, you know? Along the way, we actually do manage to find a cave. Now, this cave was actually very similar to the last cave, you know, besides the fact that there was a lot more Grimestone there. But there was also a bit more lava, and I ended up just mining a bunch more copper and iron. I did find some gold though, so that was a little bit of a plus. But at the very back end of the cave sat an amethyst geode. Now I know I sound smart, but I have no clue what it is. Absolutely none. You know what I do afterwards? I look at it for a bit, you know, I sit there, then I go straight back to mining. That's what I do, because I didn't want to touch it before knowing what it exactly was. I didn't know the rarity of anything, and if it was a rare occurrence, I didn't want to miss out on an opportunity. Oh, right, and I also found diamonds. Apparently, there's an increased chance of you finding these sorts of diamonds within the new cave structures, so that's a bit of a plus. Days 26 to 35. This duration is a little extended for simplicity's reason, but Blackstone takes longer to mine, not to mention just exploring these places. They are massive! They are massive structures underground, so I'm just sitting there exploring everything. After a bunch of mining, I then finally hit this weird, strange looking cave. Now the caves usually are a mixture of a bunch of stuff, but this cave was actually within the negative Y levels. For you guys that don't know, you can actually go below Y level 0 now, and they actually extended it, which is kind of sick. The cave in general was all made out of Grimestone and nothing else. It was super dark and super hard to see. I also got a little freaked out because I didn't want to meet the warden yet, you know, I don't think I was prepared for that kind of experience. We explored it and a bit of the mine shaft that it also carried, and looked around a bit. Didn't find anything too out of the ordinary, but quickly after we decided to head back up. Days 36 to 40. Obviously from a long mining trip like that one, I had to smelt a whole bunch of ores. Not to mention, I did a little bit of research as to what some of the stuff is, but I was still a little confused because there wasn't much information about them, but I was consider living there. Then it also hit me, I also do need to go to the nether, because like, how else am I supposed to go to the end? So then I started walking a bit with some water buckets. I couldn't find much, but eventually I did find a lava pool and created a very scuffed nether portal. But after making that scuffed nether portal, I decided to light it, go into it, look at it for like 2 seconds and come right back out. I was like, I wasn't ready for this. Days 41 to 55. A huge chunk of this time was also spent on taking the ores that are smelted out of the furnace, put back into the chest, but what I also decided to take a look into is if I was able to make an enchantment table. I was actually a little confused about the recipe with this and everything, but we did end up having a sugarcane farm, so I decided to take some of the sugarcane from the sugarcane farm, replant a bit of it so we can get some more later on, create some paper, but then realized to make books I need leather. And I looked around and I was like, shoot, there's no cows around here. So, you know, I went back to the mountains because that's usually where I find stuff. Past the mountains is actually this little bit of a valley and a little bit of an island. On that island, lo and behold, there were cows. I murdered them too, even though I should have bred them. After I got my newly obtained leather, I decided to finally make the book. After making the book, we made the enchantment table and placed it down. Days 56 to 65. This next bit was actually done during a live stream because I actually stream on Twitch. So I was just talking to my chat and showing them around the world. Don't know why that was not the most optimal use of my time, but I thought I'd just leave it in there. On the bright side, once I showed them the amethyst geode that we had, they actually told me that I can mine into it and it would give me crystals. Not to mention, they will regrow as long as the primary block is still there. So that was really useful information. After that, I go back up to my base and I explain to them how I have a buttload of copper and I don't know what to do with it. They then told me that I needed 2 copper and 1 amethyst to make a telescope, or what the game likes to call spyglasses. I don't know, don't ask me. Ask Mojang. I'm just playing the game, dude. I then asked them what else copper is even used for, and they actually tell me that it's also used to make a lightning rod. We actually end up making 3 of these because I randomly decided to put 3 copper like that. Whatever. It was a very simple recipe, so I didn't even need my chat's help for that. So I'm gonna take the credit for that one. After this, I then went on a voyage of sorts,